Hello, this is the first of several Grade Center video tutorials. Alright, so let's go to the Grade Center. So from the control panel, there's a Grade Center link. If you just click on the link, you'll have a pull-down menu and you want to go to the full Grade Center. There's also an arrow just to the right of the words Grade Center. If you click that, that automatically loads the full Grade Center. Alright, so by default, this is what the Grade Center looks like. Any student that has registered for your course is automatically put in the course. There are 6 columns having to do with student information and 2 grading columns. One's a weighted total in case you weight your grades, or just a standard total column, which is a calculated column that just adds all the scores in the Grade Center. All right. So if you do weight your grades, I would delete this column because that wouldn't make any sense compared to how you're weighting your grades, and vice versa. If you just have a total score, then you might want to delete this, because whatever's in the Grade Center shows in the Students tool My Grades, and they may be wondering what that's all about. At the very least, hide this column from Students, or a column that you're not actually going to be using. Hide the column from Students, and we'll look at how to do that in a little bit. Alright, so first of all, you can see there isn't much real estate in the Grade Center. Anytime you add a new column to the Grade Center, it's going to be shown at the very end or the very right edge of the Grade Center. So pretty soon you're going to run out of space. Then you'll just have a horizontal scroll bar. So we want to kind of reserve as much space as possible. So for example, maybe you don't need to see all 6 columns of student information. So in order to hide some columns from your view here in the Grade Center, or to move columns around as you get more and more columns in your Grade Center, we put your mouse over the Manage button and choose Column Organization. Alright, again, this top section is all of the student columns. And so say we felt we didn't need to see the student ID, username, and availability, for example. We don't need to see that every time we go in the Grade Center. So I'm checking those rows, and then put your mouse over the Show Hide button and choose Hide Selected Columns. You can see now that they're kind of grayed out. That just means that they won't be viewable or visible in the Grade Center. You can always come back in here and make them viewable again, but for now that's how that will be displayed. This bottom section will be all of your graded columns, so you don't want to move anything from here up to this section and vice versa. Keep that separated. Alright, so that's how to hide columns. And so if you wanted to, as you get more and more columns in your grading section, if you wanted to move the order of them, you click this double arrow on the left side of each row, and you can just drag and drop them to wherever you want them. Okay, so drag and drop capability and hiding columns capability. Okay, I'm going to click Submit because I did make changes. Okay, so now you can see I've got a little more room here. So let's look at the process for adding columns. So I'm just going to add a column, and the reason you would add a column is if you wanted to provide some kind of grades that isn't something that's automatically either submitted through Blackboard or a test that's given in Blackboard. Say it's just for attendance, for example. So let's create a column by clicking Create Column. So basically there are 3 fields to fill out. One is the title. If you fill in another name here, this will take precedence over what's seen in the Grade Center. Alright, so if this is blank, whatever's in this first box is what will be displayed in the Grade Center. So that's one thing you have to fill out. Primary display you don't have to change. By default it shows a numeric score. If you want that to be something different, perhaps you want to show the letter grade or a percentage or incomplete, you'll choose one of these options. And in future videos we'll go over about what those are, how those work. Secondary display is just for instructors. So say for example you wanted students to see their numeric score, but you wanted to see how that translated into a percentage, for example. you as an instructor will see both of those options, but the student will only ever see what's chosen for primary display. Category comes into play when you're weighting your grades, and that will come in the video about weighted grades. Okay. And points possible. So this is the second field I'm filling in. First the title, points possible. You can use a rubric, and we mean the rubrics that are created in Blackboard. Here if you wanted to. You can provide a due date if you wanted to, but that's optional. By default, this column will be calculated in the Grade Center calculations, and by default, this column is shown to students. Okay? And you can choose to see statistics if you want to. Okay, so I think I said there are 3 fields to fill in. Actually, there are only 2. The title of the column and the points possible. And then just click Submit. Okay, so you can see this is added to the end of the columns in the Grade Center. And so if I wanted to give a grade for this, for example, here's a little information about taking attendance in Blackboard. There isn't a kind of a smooth way to do that. So one way many instructors do this is they put in the total points possible for the semester. And I'm just clicking on these 2 numbers. I type in the total points possible, and I just hit Enter. Okay. And remember, I chose a primary and a secondary display, so I see both of those right now. And so if a student does miss a class, this is based on a class that meets 33 times throughout the semester, and I'm giving them 5 points per day. So as a student misses if a student misses a day, then I would just subtract 5 points for that day, throughout the semester. So that's adding a manual column. If you're using online tests, using the test tool in Blackboard, or online assignments using the assignment tool in Blackboard, you will have to, when you're configuring those, you enter in points possible, and that will automatically create a column in the Grade Center. So for those, you don't have to make a new column. Okay, it's only for things that are done or turned in outside of Blackboard that you have to create the column and enter the points possible and enter the grade manually. Alright, so that's just a quick overview of the Grade Center, and please watch the next videos to find out more about specifics within the Grade Center. As always, if you have any further questions, please just contact the Teaching Learning Center.